Okay, so I am going to be going over pull requests, which is what he went over last Friday on the 21st. So the first thing we learn about is forking. A fork is basically just a copy of someone else's repository, and then when you clone it to your computer, you can make changes and then submit a pull request, and then the owner of that repository will review your pull request and all the changes you made, and then they can merge it into their repo if they want, or if they don't want to, they won't merge it. Let's see. So what I'm gonna do first is I have two different accounts, so I can kind of show you. This one's like my dummy account, and then I have my regular account. So I think the easiest way would be to make a new repository on my dummy account and then clone it, because my VS Code is hooked up to my regular account. So let's do PR demo. I'll do 3 because I already have a few. So, and then we'll just do this description. You don't really have to make a description if you don't want to, but I think he normally does, so I'll just do it that way. And so we're going to create the repo. And so now I have the repository. I could add a file if I wanted to, but I think I'm just going to leave it like this. So what we need to do is get the URL for the repository so I can look it up on my other account. So I'm going to go to Chrome because I'm signed in on this one. And then we'll go here. So now we see this is from my other account. And so we have the repository. We just have the README and everything. So what I'm going to do is the first thing you need to do is this fork button right here. So we'll fork it, and then it's going to ask you to kind of rename it. I'll just rename it because it wasn't available because I already have it locked. For right now, we're going to copy to the main branch and keep everything the same, and we'll create the fork. Hopefully I don't get confused because it's the same account. Okay, so now I have this forked demo from my other account, which was this one. And it says forked from, and so this is the original owner, and then this is my copy of it. So the next thing we'll do is after you fork, you would go to VS Code, and we're going to clone our repository from GitHub. And so let's see, I think it's this one. And then it's going to ask you where you want it, and I'm just going to put it in my codex folder. And it asks you if you want to open it, so we're going to open it. And so right now all we have is this README. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add an index file. And then the shortcut for the boilerplate is Shift-1, and then you would select the first one, and then it kind of just gives you this. We can change the title. Pull request. Alright. I'm just gonna give it like a header. Welcome to the pull request demo. And then I'm just gonna do a paragraph. And if you type in lorem or start typing in lorem and you click this, it kind of gives you like a just, dummy code, like dummy words or whatever. It's just a little shortcut just to have something in here. What we could do is we can go live. It should open in a different Chrome. Alright, so right now all we have is this header and just the dummy text just to have something on here. So we can also make like a style sheet. So style.css. And what we have to do is link our style sheet to our HTML, and that goes in the head. If you just type link, it kind of finishes it for you. Style.css, and it already has the file name. So we can go back to our CSS, and I'm just going to apply a style to the body. We can give it a background color, purple. We can do the text color. Let's just do antique white. And font family. I'm just going to pick one. And that should be good. Alright, so let's go back and check. And so now we see we changed the background color and the text color, and now it's in the Helvetica, the sans serif font. Alright, so after you make your changes on your forked repository, we would open up our terminal. We're going to go through git add to add everything. And so we see once we added, these right here are different colors. Since we already had the README, it's in its own color. And so when we add them, they change a different color, and then they have this A for added right here. So that means that these files are staged and ready to be committed. So the next step would be git commit -m, and then we can just write a message of like what you did. So we'll do added HTML and CSS, and then enter. And then it says we have 2 files that we changed. And then this is usually like all the different changes that you made. And then these are the file names that we created. So those are all ready and ready to push. So then we can do git push. And everything went through. So then the next thing that you want to do is go to your, this is it. So you would go back to your forked repository. We can hit refresh, and we see that our files are there, but this is still only on our copy. So we haven't done a pull request to ask the owner if they will merge our changes. So this usually pops up. This branch is 1 commit ahead of the original repo. So this is my name for like my regular account, and then this jcharlton82 is where the original repository came from. So, and then also like if the other, like the owner of the repository makes changes or anything, you can sync their fork, things like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to go up to this pull request tab, and then we're going to click new pull request. All right, and so we see that this is the head repo, like the other repo, and then we have mine right here. So it says we're able to merge. So then we see my commit. This is the commit that I made on my other account, my regular account. And then Yeah, so this is my regular account, and then this is the original. So the original will be the base, and then yours would be on this side. But usually it automatically does it for you, so but just in case like you need to compare or do a pull request on your own thing. So then when we scroll down here, we notice that it has two changed files, and we created the index. So this is what we created in the index, and then this is the style sheet. So these are all the changes that we made. All right. So after you kind of review and make sure that yes, this is the right changes, we would do create pull request. Then we come to this page and we add like a description. So added HTML, or we can do homepage and CSS. And then you can also do like a little message, like a task that you want to give the other person, like maybe add a new page or a contact page and navigation. And then we will scroll down here and create our pull request. All right, so this is like our pull page. So it says it's still open, which means that the owner hasn't merged it to their repository yet. So it says this Jennifer T 9462 wants to merge one commit into the original. This is the comment that I did when I made the pull request. This is the commit that we did in VS Code. And so it says there's no conflicts. And then we could write a comment if we wanted to. So that is that one. And so if I go back to the original, we'll see that we have a pull request. So if we go to our pull request tab, we see we have this one here, which means that somebody wants to merge a change to our repo. So we would go to the pull request and we see we do have one open, and it's the one that we just did. Added homepage and CSS, maybe add a contact page for navigation, and then there's no conflicts. We can add a comment here saying thank you for their pull request. And then if we want to merge the changes from the 9462, we can click merge pull request. Usually I just kind of leave all this the same. Confirm merge. All right, and so now we have merged and the pull request is successfully closed. You could, okay, yeah. So then we can go back to our other account and hit refresh. Oh, it already did it automatically. So before it said open with like the orange. Now it says merged, and we see the comment from the original. Thanks. And then we see ours. And yep, that is it, I think, for this. You can go back, and when you go back to your pull request, you'll see that there's one that's closed. So if you wanted to go back and view close pull requests, you could do that over here. And then the same with this one. Now that one's going to disappear. So now there's no more pull requests. So we can come here and we can also hit this close button to see any of the closed pull requests. And we have our comment, and we also have it's merged. So if we go to the code, we have our style sheet, our HTML, And then same with this one, which is the original one. All right. So I think that is it for the pull request. It's a little confusing when you're doing it on your own accounts. But I can send you a repo, and then you can kind of fork and clone it yourself, and then we can do it that way as well.